And there we go. Hey, welcome. We had a big storm here, so we had to get everything turned back on this morning. Should be back tomorrow morning at the regular 25 minutes past the hour. This chart in front of us right now is basically the most perfect setup that I see right now. I mean, it is absolutely glorious. Look at this head and shoulders pattern. We could move, well, there could be two shoulders, really, right? And then right there. That is just an amazing setup. There's no better place for the entry than below the neckline, which is really down at 62.72 or so. That really still is the best area. But I guess you could maybe use some kind of a pass-through trend line. I mean, you could maybe go a little bit earlier below 63.40 and then place a stop loss above the furthest right shoulder. That is just an incredible looking head and shoulders pattern with a pretty substantial possible target. I really like that trade. The Euro Canadian doesn't look as good. The Euro Pound, however, looks almost exactly the same. Two shoulders over here, one a little bit smaller than the other. And then, wow, that is kind of awesome, isn't it? High shoulder, low shoulder on both sides. Wow, you kind of do get a better early entry on the Euro Pound. That's absolutely fantastic. Stop loss would go above the highs. Just love that. That is really, that is, I don't know. I don't know how else to say it except for that's just absolutely incredible. Okay. Great to see you. Oh, not seeing your screen. Okay. Well, you'll you'll definitely see it on the recording. There we go. All right. So on the recording, you will see it. Once again, looks like we're back to I have to share the screen twice if I'm recording on the Screencastify. All right, let's walk back through these one more time. It doesn't hurt to go back through things more than one time. Okay, head and shoulders on the Euro British Pound 60-minute chart. This is really, really good looking. High shoulder over here on this side, a high shoulder over here on the right side, a low shoulder in the middle on the left, and a low shoulder in the middle on the right. And then we got the head in the middle. And now, in addition to a neckline, which I think you could raise up to here, so around 88.80, we have a shoulder line right here on the far right side. And I wonder if we go down to a 15-minute chart, if there is any likelihood or any chance that this is a setup. Yeah, I mean, you could argue that this is a shoulder, this is a head, and this is a shoulder. In addition to what we've seen, in which case the neckline would be look like this, even something steeper. In fact, the neckline would probably look like that. It's not perfect, but it's still good. I still like this trend line right here. That's a good one. That's a good trend line. Okay. Yeah, so that's the Euro British Pound. That's probably the very best looking chart. The Euro Australian is pretty close behind. Real similar looking formation. Let's see here. And I was trying to look for maybe a trend line that could break earlier. Look at this. This is a head and shoulders right here. Neckline right there. We're right at the neckline. I wonder if the distance between the head and the neckline. Let's get a vertical ray. Yep, look at that. That's a great trade today. That's probably going to materialize in the next 24 hours. That would be my guess anyway. Gosh, that's a really good one. Technically speaking, I haven't seen something that good in a long, long time. Okay. Those are the two big ones right now. I'm going to scroll through everything on the 60-minute chart just because we have the time and because we can. But if there is anything that you are interested in, we'll take a look at it also. So we'll just start at the top and we'll just go through everything. This is the Australian dollar, Canadian dollar, which a couple of days ago we identified as a buy based on the correlation study that we did. And we are right up at the trend line. That is not a surprise. And, at this point, we could go a long way from here. A really long way. We could go all the way up to this weekly missed pivot. Australian dollar Swiss is like every other Swiss franc pair. The Swiss franc appreciates in value when there is political or international strife. And I think you could easily say that the tensions with Iran qualify as international political whatever strife, right? I mean, impossible to argue otherwise, if you ask me. So the interesting thing about this one in particular is that the Australian dollar is gold based or correlated to gold. So that's going to rise when, right? That's going to rise when there's international tensions. And the Swiss franc is backed by gold. So that rises when there's international tension. So why is this falling? At some point in time, this is going to have to recover as well. I'm guessing if we did a pairs trade, we would see the Australian dollar and we would see something going on here. So we'll remove all the drawing tools. We'll go Australian dollar, US dollar. And then we'll go Swiss franc, US dollar. Yeah, there you go. Usually they're correlated. Look at how correlated these usually are. Oh, that's the New Zealand dollar at the bottom. Got to change that. Of course, we know the New Zealand dollar. What is the what? Invalid symbol. That is not an invalid symbol. You shut your dirty mouth. All right. So there you have it. Out of correlation right now. Should go back into correlation. We should see the Swiss franc fall and the Australian dollar rise. It's just technically most likely one of those things that's going to have to happen. Let's look at the New Zealand dollar, US dollar. These are super correlated, these two. This is fun to look at. I hope you like the correlations. Look at how correlated those usually are. Occasionally, you'll get a little bit of separation every once in a while, but not very much. I'm looking for these areas where there we go. So there's a correlation breakdown. And that is on April 12th. Oh, that's a daily chart. Oh, that's the big time. So daily chart, April 13th, 2018. Let's just take a look at that. Because I'm guessing April of 2018 saw the New Zealand dollar fall and the Australian dollar rise. So the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar probably went up 12th, 13th, 14th, and so forth. So let's go to 2018 and let's go to the beginning. Okay, we'll just use this. Okay. And that's exactly what we see. Look at that move. Holy smokes. So that's what we would expect to see. And there's no other indication here, I might add. I mean, except for maybe the reversal tab pointing upward. The correlation is essentially the world's greatest early warning sign that something needs to change. Maybe. It may be the best indicator. It's crazy, right? So you see the correlation go out of whack here. This separation right here. So you would also, I mean, at least think that here in December of 2017, the correlation doesn't go off enough right there. The separation is really in the depths, the October, November area of 2017, but it doesn't look really that substantial. Certainly not as substantial as the one that we just looked at. But there are some pretty big ones in August. But let's just look at October. The end of October 2017, we would expect the Australian dollar to fall and the New Zealand dollar to rise. So the Australian dollar, New Zealand dollar falling in November of 2017. I don't know if we can go back that far. We'll see, though. We can. And look at that. That's exactly what it does. I don't know if you think this is pretty cool. But I think it's pretty cool. I don't know, John, David, Jimmy, and others. That's the correlation stuff. Let's remove all the drawing tools here and maybe start this over. I don't know what kind of correlation study we can do with like the, I don't know, British pound, Swiss franc. Yeah, so that's usually not correlated. You can see here, it's not supposed to be correlated. Like pretty clearly not correlated most of the time, right? Oh, here, that's British pound, Swiss franc, and the British pound. There we go. It's pretty much the same. It has really, really long periods of lots of correlations dipping under the zero line. I mean, you can look here, April 2019. You have a pretty big separation here. You could even look at 25th of March 2019. So if we go to the British pound, Swiss franc, and we go to March, we would expect based on that we've kind of peaked out. And not only that, you've got like a head and shoulders here, shoulder, head, shoulder. And then you do get quite the drop, right? And now we've got some separation going on. Pretty big time here. Now the separation always peaks before the correlation goes out of whack. This correlation, I have to probably change the speed of the correlation. Let's see what happens if I change it to a 3. What happens if I change it to a... Yeah, I can't seem to get that any closer. Yeah, that just messes the whole thing up. Yeah, 5 or 6 is pretty much as good as you get. I wonder what happened. I wonder what that kind of smooths it out, doesn't it? High, low, close divided by 3. Open, high, low, close divided by 3. That's kind of cool. I like that. That does kind of smooth things out. So the separation occurs, and then the correlation follows down here at the bottom. Kind of lags. This correlation study kind of lags. So you would expect that somewhere in the near future, based on this separation here, we're going to get a drop in the correlation study. And the move will probably begin before all of that happens. Like the move will probably start back lower before the correlation goes out of whack. Yeah, it looks like Zoom has removed the chat option and it only has raise hand and Q&A. I don't even have the option to look at the chat. So, Daniel, maybe the new link for Zoom has chat turned off. That's a possibility. But I did not turn it. I don't remember pressing anything that would have turned it out off. So I don't know if this British pound. I don't really see a lot of reasons that this would be correlated. What would the British pound obviously would be more highly correlated to the euro. Let's remove all the drawing tools and look for areas where, like right here, you have pretty big separation. Most recently here, you have it here again. And that is what led to the British pound falling against the euro. I guess you could go, if we want to recreate the euro British pound, we'd go euro first, British pound second. There we go. There we go. So that's the euro British pound. Back in April, March, you would, based on this, expect the euro to come up and the British pound to fall, which is exactly what happened. The euro jumped upward. And there's not a lot of separation here right now. Look at that. Yeah, that's really interesting. I wonder what Bitcoin and Bitcoin and the British pound. Never looked at that before. That's not correlated at all. Look at it's just not. But if we change this to Ethereum, whoa, look at that correlation. Holy smokes. Yeah, there's almost no. This is probably July of 2018, Bitcoin falling, Ethereum rising, or just Bitcoin falling. July 2018. Let's just look at this. Wow. Well, there you have it. Yeah. End of July. Jeez. What did Ether do during that time? Probably stayed. Well, it probably fell as well. Let's take a look. So it pretty much it fell along with it. Yeah. So if you pairs traded this, which supposes that you buy one and sell the other, you'd have to really look at Bitcoin, Ether during that time. Can we look at that? Oh, I bet you have to look at it the other way around. Yeah, there we go. So let's just take a quick look at that. We want to look at July 2018. Holy smokes. Wow. Yeah, that doesn't really work. See, Bitcoin was supposed to, during that time, you would expect Bitcoin to fall and Ether to rise, but Ether just got crushed during that time. So that doesn't work. That correlation doesn't work at all. Like that's zero going to work. That's just not it. That is exactly the opposite. In fact, they both fell, but Bitcoin must have fallen less quickly. That's the only thing I can imagine. We had some more separation over there. Let's see if there's any other periods of time. I mean, maybe December of 2017. Once again, expecting Bitcoin to fall, Ether to rise in December of 2017. Let's just take a quick look before we finish off. December 2017. And it's, yeah, right. It's the opposite. No, wait. Ether rising, Bitcoin falling. Oh, well, that worked. Ether rising, Bitcoin falling. So maybe you got to have a little bit more separation. I'll be looking into that for sure. Okay, correlations are awesome. That's our setup for today. Once again, loving everything about the Euro Aussie, especially. And to a lesser extent, the Euro Pound. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow.